Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into what might just be one of the funniest, sharpest novels you've never even heard of, Stella Gibbons' 1932 classic, Cold Comfort Farm.
So, the whole story kicks off with our hero, Flora Post. And let me tell you, she's a thoroughly modern, super pragmatic young woman with let's call it a very particular mission statement. Yeah, this isn't your typical story about finding love or a big inheritance. Nope, this is about finding order.
And that really sets up the central conflict, right? It's the engine of the novel's brilliant comedy. You've got this epic clash of civilizations. On one side, the world of logic and common sense, and on the other, a fortress of complete and utter chaos and melodrama.
Okay, so let's properly meet Flora. She is a heroine unlike pretty much any other from her time. Seriously, she's not out there looking for a husband. Nah, she's looking for a project.
So, picture this. Flora's freshly orphaned, she's got a little bit of money, but, not enough to live on. And does she decide to get a job? Of course not. Instead, she makes this brilliant observation that while society kind of frowns on living off your friends, there are no limits to what you can impose on your relatives. Her goal isn't just to, sponge off them. Oh no. It's to actively reorganize the chaotic lives she finds, all for her own comfort and amusement. She is, and I mean this, the ultimate, completely unapologetic life hacker.
So after writing out to all her various relatives, she gets this one response that is just so intriguing. It's this doom and gloom invitation from a cousin, Judith Starkadder, at a place called, get this, Cold Comfort Farm. Judith hints at some mysterious wrong her husband did to Flora's dad and warns her, child, if you come to this doomed house, what is to save you? And Flora's reaction? Naturally, she's absolutely delighted and packs her bags immediately.
Okay, we have to talk about this. The description of the farm is it's immediately and hilariously over the top. I mean, the language is so dramatic, so purple, it's practically glowing in the dark. This isn't just about setting a scene, you guys. This is setting up a parody of an entire genre of writing.
I mean, you can almost feel the gloom just dripping off the page, right? And that is exactly the point. The farm isn't just a location, it's a character all on its own, crouched like a beast about to spring. It feels like everything about this place was designed to be as miserable and inconvenient as humanly possible.
And this just illustrates the whole atmosphere of the farm so brilliantly. Even the livestock, the animals, are part of the act. You've got the bull who just spends all day bellowing in a dark shed, and his name is Big Business. And the cows? Oh, the cows. Their names are the perfect summary of life on the farm. Graceless, pointless, feckless, and aimless. It's literally despair on four legs.
And the people living there? Well, the farm is populated by the Starkadders, a family that basically treats misery like a competitive sport. You've got Amos, the fanatical preacher, Reuben, who's obsessed with the land, Seth, who's always smoldering, and the constantly anguished Judith. But ruling over them all, from her bedroom, is the tyrannical matriarch, Aunt Ada Doom, and she controls the entire family with this one single cryptic trauma from her childhood.
So, faced with this absolute fortress of dysfunction, does Flora despair? Does she run away? Nope. She just rolls up her sleeves and gets to work. Because she doesn't see a cursed family. She sees a series of problems that just need a good tidying up.
And this right here, this perfectly encapsulates Flora's entire philosophy. You have old Adam Lambsbreath, who's been cluttering, that's their word for it, the dishes with a twig for 80 years. 80! And Flora's solution, a simple dish mop. It's brilliant. She applies these totally practical, modern solutions to these absurdly deep-rooted problems.
And she uses this same simple, logical process for every single person and every problem she finds on the farm. It's like a formula. Step 1. Identify the misery. Step 2, apply a healthy dose of 20th century common sense. And Step 3, move on to the next project.
And you know what? Her projects are wildly successful. The hired girl, Miriam, who keeps having babies when the succubind is in bloom, Flora introduces her to birth control. Seth, the supposedly irresistible heartthrob, turns out he's just obsessed with the talkies, so Flora gets him a screen test. Amos, the preacher, gets a Ford van to take his fire and brimstone show on the road. One by one, each solution just dismantles a pillar of the family's self-inflicted tragedy. It's amazing.
So, let's step back for a second. Why is all of this so incredibly funny? What was the author, Stella Gibbons, really up to here? Because, and this is the crucial point, This isn't just some quirky story. It's a brilliant piece of literary satire.
What Gibbons was doing was writing this wicked parody of a whole genre of books that were super popular back then. We're talking the 1920s and 30s. She was poking fun at big-name authors like D.H. Lawrence and Mary Webb. These books, sometimes called loam and love child novels, were always filled with these intense, brooding characters, epic tragedies all tied to the soil, and just so much dramatic language. And Flora Post, she is the ultimate antidote to all of that.
See, Gibbons had spent 10 years as a journalist, where she was trained to say exactly what she meant in short, clear sentences. So you can imagine she was just endlessly amused by this literary fashion for long, dramatic, and, let's be honest, often meaningless sentences. So Cold Comfort Farm is basically her revenge. She uses this super clear-headed hero to just slice right through all that lyrical nonsense.
All right, so now let's get to the novel's most famous line, because it all builds to this surprisingly modern conclusion.
This one line is Aunt Ada's justification for everything. It's why she hasn't left her room in 20 years. It's the source of her supposed madness, and it is absolutely the weapon she uses to manipulate and control her entire family. Anytime someone even thinks about leaving the farm, she warns she'll get madder yet.
And what's amazing is that this central joke, this idea of the endless power of an unexamined trauma, has actually become a cultural touchstone. The phrase, "something nasty in the woodshed," has entered the English language. It's now shorthand for any sort of vague but powerful backstory people use to explain why they are the way they are.
So what has Aunt Ada actually gained from nurturing this trauma for decades? The answer is 5. That's the number of meals delivered to her room every single day. She has weaponized her misery to keep her family completely trapped and basically serving her every whim. And as Flora figures out, it's been a pretty good racket for her.
And this is where the book gets really serious, right? It's this underlying point about how people can use misery to control others, to exempt themselves from just living a normal life. And that feels more relevant today than ever, doesn't it? Flora's refusal to indulge all their wallowing is this big call for rationality over just, romanticizing your own suffering.
And that, right there, is the genius of Cold Comfort Farm. It's not about denying that nasty things happen in woodsheds. They do. It's about recognizing that you don't have to stay there forever. The book is really just a hilarious, brilliant instruction manual for finding that door that's just a little bit ajar and walking right through it into the sunshine.